yesterday. I have just yesterday an example that I'd like to mention. I have been working with one of my dear friends on some project to raise funds, applying for funds for some service work that we are doing. And so we had to meet a deadline with that application. And he was working on that, this brother of mine. He was working on that, and I had reminded him at least 5 times that there's a deadline and we need to meet it. Very gently I reminded him, and he said, yeah, I'll take care of it. And so yesterday when I spoke with him on the phone, we noticed, or I noticed actually, that the deadline had passed. That means we missed out on, actually it had already been approved, we just had to, to put in some paperwork. Yeah, just like you did like now, like this, I also felt like I was not very pleased with that news. That was on the phone. So, what did I do? I thought for a moment, I thought, this brother is divine. This action, this missing the deadline is also divine. My being upset is also divine. But then I felt differently. Then there was an inner calm and inner peace. That is spiritual surrender. I managed to give up my limited thoughts, my desire to not miss on an opportunity of raising some funds for our service work. Certainly that is my desire, but I gave it up. I let it go, accepting the divine. And that gives inner peace. Now, in the world of action, that is not the end. That is not the end. I'm simply describing the elements of surrender. This is surrender. So, I felt at peace. In spiritual surrender, particularly in the complete deep internal spiritual surrender, where the mind virtually becomes more and more absorbed in consciousness, one experiences the deepest spiritual fulfillment. One experiences the oneness that one is really longing for. It leads to bliss. One experiences bliss in deep surrender of meditation. It is a flow of consciousness, it is bliss. And that surrender, that converting the limited thoughts and feelings towards the unlimited, towards the feeling, towards pure consciousness, that frees our mind. It liberates our mind from contractions. It frees our mind from illusion, from the illusion of our separateness, that we are separate and small and surrounded by a hostile, threatening universe. Surrender frees ourselves from that illusion and establishes us in the feeling and ultimately in the realization of divine oneness. So, with surrender, one remains in a blissful flow, in a flow of inner peace, of inner bliss. That's why surrender, spiritual surrender, is at the heart of spiritual practice. It is the essence of spiritual practice. Spiritual surrender is the essence of spiritual practice. The ideating on the divine and transforming, converting one's mind, one's thoughts, one's emotions towards consciousness, that is at the heart of spiritual practices. And it leads to the supreme fulfillment. And this spiritual surrender is the first step of acting spiritually. I said in the beginning that I will speak about spiritual surrender and also about the 3 steps of acting spiritually. So the first one is spiritual surrender. Like in the example that I gave you yesterday, I mentally surrendered. That is the first step. But what comes after that? After ascribing divinity to the situation, what comes after that? What do you do then? I'm still on the phone with that person. What do I do now? The next step is right questioning. Asking yourself the right question. How can I best deal with the divinity of this situation? What is the best way to express my love, my potential, to be committed towards my work, towards my goal in this particular situation? To ask these kind of questions. First, surrender, letting go of my small thoughts and desires, first of all, and feeling an inner state of calm and peace and connectedness with the divine essence within me. Then the second step is, how can I best serve now? What is the best thing to do? Say, for example, someone is offering you some food. Maybe it's some junk food. And so first of all, you ascribe divinity to it. You surrender. This person is divine, the junk food is divine, I am divine. And you feel divine. And so then the next step is, what's the best way of dealing with this situation? What's the best way of being of service? If I eat this food, it will upset my stomach and my mind, and it will not be good for me. So, spiritual surrender doesn't mean that we just accept the situation, everything, and say yes, yes, yes to everything. Don't worry, no worry, everything is fine. I eat whatever comes to me. It doesn't mean that. The second step of acting spiritually is asking right questions. What is the best way of dealing with this situation? So it might be in the case that someone offers you something that is actually really not good for you. You will say, thank you very much, I appreciate it so much, but right now it's better for me not to eat this. But it comes from a peace. It comes from your heart.